It's the day before Halloween.
Yeah,
And there's a weird looking Care Bear in the screen below.
I hate you for that. Nino, welcome to the jungle. Yeah, what's up? Happy Halloween, everyone. For
Look
all
at
the
that.
people that doesn't want to wear an outfit on Halloween, it's because they're poor, they're angry, or they're simple assholes. So,
Actually, it's because try as I might, I could not find even the
yeah,
ingredients to do a Donald Trump costume,
yeah,
so I was
yeah.
SOL. No, man, I had it all
No,
planned out.
that doesn't make sense. I say that you were an asshole if you don't get dressed. You cannot be Donald Trump because that make you an asshole. Forget about it. It's just me. You know that I love you, Donald. Uncle Donald.
Don't
Uncle
worry,
Lawrence.
Donald. Daddy Trump still loves you too. He's the
And we
best.
have a.
He's
Go
the
ahead,
be-
please. Say.
he's the best virus. He's the best virus we've ever had. Even though the other one, the one that people say I cured. They forget that. They forget that I created the vaccine with my brains and my superior gigantic hands.
Whew. I thought you were going to say something else. Trumpy. Just for the people, he's not making a Donald Trump impersonation. His name is Trumpy. It's over there. Hey, Trumpy, we have a special guest today for the second time in our podcast. Somebody that I personally call the Oracle, somebody that knows everything about what we're going to talk today. And as I didn't prepare because I'm a lazy rock star, I prefer to bring I'm like a lawyer. Before I introduce, I'm like a lawyer. I'm just going to say, this is a specialist so they can answer your questions. So I don't have to prepare. So, ladies and gentlemen, Alexander.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
What's up?
I mean, I
Back?
dress like an ape. What kind of question is that?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, you're a big monkey.
Not he called me big. You see that? That I can handle these people.
Well, technically, an ape is kind of like just a big monkey. So
Okay, I'm like the guy from Gorillas in the Mist. I'm the stunt double from the actual gorilla. I'm the stunt double. Anyway, you guys like this? Well, fuck it. I'm back. Virus is here. It's me, guys. Don't shock. It's just me.
Virus Kong is
Anyway,
no more.
Virus Kong. You know what? I'm back because I love Virus Kong. I'm gonna be, it's extremely hot in here in the jungle, as you can see. So let's jump into this. You know that we're in our podcast number 9, if I'm not incorrect.
This would be 10.
That's what I say. Fucked up in the documentation, but this will be 10. So technically, we're already passing the algorithm. So soon, YouTube is gonna start listening to us, right?
Nice.
So uh, today we're gonna have a really interesting. Probably gonna be one of my favorites because as you guys know, a couple of podcasts back, I went and watched every movie from Batman, from Batman, 1989
Right.
to the Batman. And as you guys know, I wish this is a dream. If they let me direct one trilogy, just to shut the hell up because how I don't want to go deep because I don't want to talk about the movies today. But if you have a script already with images called comic book that is already created and everybody love it, why the fuck you change it? It's like that's your storyboard, dumbass. So I would love for the studios. You don't want to pay me? Just pay for an apartment and food for my friends. I do it for free. Just let me do it because you fucking suck. Saying that aside, the first topic that we're gonna talk about today, we're gonna talk about the most important for me, the most important part of the Batman era that introduced a new marketing device and that it was dead in the family all the way to the Battle of the Cowl. That will be my perfect trilogy. Dead in the Family, uh, The Night's Fall, and the Red Hood. That would be the perfect trilogy for somebody to be happy. But we're gonna that's our first topic, and that's what we invite the Oracle Alexander, so he can guide us a little bit through this. And we're gonna talk about other topics related to Halloween. I don't want to advance it right now, so you fucking stay with us because I love how the people are like, "Hey, I love the podcast. Oh, you watched it complete? I just watched the first 2 minutes. Like what? That doesn't count.
No, that
I just
doesn't count.
scroll it around. I just scroll it over. I say, yeah, yeah. So just we're gonna make a 10 seconds edited version for the people that they just are nice and clicker. Are you ready? Ah, ah,
Batman, Star
okay, for the
Wars.
people for the people that actually love what we do, that is our moms and our grandmothers, um, and Donald Trump, of course, because he
It's
thinks I'm awesome.
it's the greatest podcast ever. It's a cast of a pod. I'm not really sure how it works. Much smarter people than me. What am I saying? No one's smarter than me. I know exactly how it works. But I don't have time to explain it to you. So, Virus Conk, take it away.
Actually, you know that I learned the word podcast probably 5 years ago. When I was a young person, I thought it was podcast.
That's gotta exist.
The podcast,
The
of course, got to be a podcast about weed. Got to be. If not, TR ownership of Toon Talk 2.0. And let's just talk about, like I say, Batman, and I will address to the people in the podcast right now, Jake and Alexander. Please, let's erase the movies and the animated movies from our brain. Let's just focus in the simple fact of the comic book. Dead in the Family, and correct me every time that you hear I say something stupid, Alexander. Please interrupt me with the word ape right away. Just
Will do.
Jason Todd, the second Robin, after Dick Grayson decided to leave Batman and became Nightwing. Well, it was a breach, but he wasn't doing anything, just spending Wayne's money and around the world. He Jason Todd is a guy that was living in the streets, that he was extremely aggressive. His dad dies in the hands of Two Faces, so that makes him like that. The mother suffered a illness that it never got released, but it's a long illness. And one day, Batman is coming, and this I think that is a little absurd, but he gets back to the alley where her family died, and the Batmobile is parked there, and Jason Todd is stealing the tires of the car.
Right.
And that uh, Batman see an opportunity to forgive himself for all the mistakes that he did with Dick Grayson, and Bruce Wayne see an opportunity to love and believe again. Because let's remember that inside the Bruce Wayne and kick-ass Batman, he's a really damaged person that manufactures aggression for his lack of control and justice to compensate with the pain. That's what Batman is for me, Bruce Wayne. Like I always saying repeatedly in this podcast, the real character is Batman, and the alter ego from Batman is Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne is an act. The face, and I know everything, and I'm an around. That's an act. The real guy is an eventual motherfucker that fights like God and kick ass and has the most. Yeah, in DC probably the best tools. So Jason Todd comes into play. Jason Todd arrives in around 13 years old with him. For the time
Yep.
that he's 18, ready to turn 19, he runs to the biggest challenge in his life. He fights with Batman because he started being aggressive again. Even he showed a lot of improvement. In a simple fight, he goes a little over the edge. Batman reprehends him. He gets mad. Batman says, "You can't be Robin till you learn how to control yourself." And then when the thing started, he goes and walks away. And I'm just into the Dead in the Family. He goes away and walking through his old neighborhood. You know, when you go and walk, he see this neighbor, an old lady that used to be her neighbor, that is gonna tell him, "Hey, how you been?" Blah blah blah. You know, like a normal neighbor, and take, I got a box that your mother left, and in that box that he takes home, try to identify a little bit of his past. He opened an address book for the people of different generation. Back in the day, we don't save things in the. I know you laugh, Jake, but there's people that.
I know.
So in this book, address book, he find three names with the letter S, and when he opened and it's his birth certificate, and realized that his mother started with letter S, and it's a little erased by the humidity and water that was fall. So he realized that his mother, it wasn't his biological mother,
Right.
and even he loved the woman to 100%. He got this necessity as he's the second best detective in the world, because at that point he's Jason Todd is extremely smart because he got street smart and Batman knowledge. So that makes him really dangerous and really powerful, different, but really smart. Long story short, he goes away and start following the track of these three women, one being Lady Shiva, one of the worst enemies from Batman.
Right.
In the past, that she's not an enemy, she's a person trained by Ra's al Ghul, a woman trained by Ra's al Ghul, specific with hand-to-hand combat that she used to train guerrillas around the world. The
Right.
second one, oh, what is the second one before the mom? The second S. Hmm.
I don't
I
remember.
will remember.
She was some kind of a arms dealer, maybe, or something
No,
like
no, no.
that.
That's the third one. The mom. The first S is some. Oh yeah, I remember. The first one is just go to nowhere. You look at it and the person is that. The second one is Lady Shiva, so he needs
Right.
to travel to the Middle East. And the third one, we discovered that is a humanitarian doctor that
Right.
in her path of helping people as money to a long shark, that she wouldn't realize that that long shark will be the Joker.
Right.
The Joker, and that's the main story, how Jason Todd will face the Joker, because the Joker, correct me on this, Jake, is Bola. That's how you pronounce the Middle
Yeah.
East. Hezbollah, right? That's how you say it.
Hezbollah.
Yeah.
The
Actually,
Hezbollah.
he ends up being like the ambassador for Iran, right, in the UN
Yeah, yeah,
at the end of.
exactly. And I think that's really good at the end. I think that's really good because he tries to sell a dirty bomb. For the people that don't know, a dirty bomb is a nuclear bomb missile, and sell it to the Hezbollah, and the Hezbollah say, "I got a real another better uh, offer for you. Would you like to represent our country?" And he becomes the ambassador of the UN for Iran,
Right.
the Joker. But that happened before. One of the worst thing, because in his path of trying to find his mother, Jason runs to find the mother that, like I say, was a humanitarian, and at the same time, Bruce Wayne is trying through
He's
through
tracking
through the
down
Batman.
the.
He's tracking
Right.
down the dirty bomb, and they match at the end. And when they realize they're together and together, they try to stop the Joker. That scene for me, and when I read it, this was released what in 1992.
No, this is in 1989, like 88 to 89.
So 88, probably I read it around 91, 92.
Right.
Whatever the time is, it was really important for me, Jake, because I was a really young creator. In Mexico, we have, uh, I read in 92. Let me clarify. I don't know exactly that. I read in 92. I bought the compendium.
Right.
And at that exactly time that when I was reading that, it was a candidate for presidency assassination in Mexico, Donaldo Colosio. So I'm reading the news in the morning. That's huge in a country when somebody is killed in the presidential side. Kurt Cobain just passed suicide. I'm a 12, 13-year-old influencer, that, and I'm reading the Dead in the Family. It shocks me really strong. Probably,
It was
everything
shocking.
that,
It was quite shocking. Yeah.
and So when Batman says, I need to stop the terrorist, do not move, Jason. For once in your life, please wait for me. And he says, I'll wait. But then he realized that the mom is not there because the Joker took her to the storage. He goes, the Joker grabs a crowbar and dude beat the shit out of it, Jake. Like, oh my god, like the shit out of it. And it's so painful. And then and I remember that I was probably like I say 12-year-old and I'm like tearing. Batman stopped the guys, right? And jump into the motorcycle and come as fast as he can. And he knows that something is going wrong. And I remember perfectly how seeing the motorcycle say, please, Jason, I hope you wait for me. And the contrapart, the Joker is saying, this hurt too much. Oh, I can hear you. Oh, let me tell you where your lung is failing. It's hard to talk. You're like, well, what the fuck, dude, right? He comes to that part. He beat the shit out of it. Meanwhile, the mom is watching. And you see, I'm being so passionate about this because if they put that in a movie, it'll be fantastic. The first Batman, right? The dead in the family. Nobody needs to introduce Batman why his mother died. Like, we know that. We know that. I don't need to see how they rip the pearls again. I do not. Right? Anyway, long story short, Batman gets there, and before Jason realized that it's a bomb, the whole building is bomb, and he look at the mom, look at the clock, look at the door, and the last thing is you see his eye, then a big explosion. He comes in, and this breaks my heart.
Yeah.
He finds the mother first, Batman, and he said he was such a good kid. Even he was so bad, he jumped in front of the blast to protect me. Fuck, this like what?
Right.
I feel ah.
Yeah, well,
And
the story actually acts like it's like a mystery story. Like you don't really know who the mother is. Like that's the mystery that you're trying to find out whether he's right or wrong. And the thing about his mother, which ends up being his real mother, the doctor from the medic camps, she actually has to give him up to the Joker
oh yeah, that's true.
because she lets the Joker know. She's like, this little kid came up to me and he's like asking about his mother, and the Joker's like, who are you talking about? Or is he wearing a costume or something? And she's like, yeah, he's like some kind of costume superhero. And the Joker does what the Joker does, and he tells her that, well, if you give him up to me, I'll take care of him. Like I won't hurt him. I'll just take care of him. But he ends up, blowing him up both, in a
Because it's the
warehouse.
Joker. The
Yeah.
Joker is a wild card that is always gonna do what his need of ego and compensation for through pain, and that so that will be the best. That's one of the best Batman things for me. I don't know if you have to say something about it, Jake, but we see.
It's
I'm sorry. Before the jump is when we see that happen and Batman carry the dead inert body of Robin. It cuts to when he says, "Oh, because the bomb it didn't work, was defective, the dirty bomb."
Right.
So he goes and open the door and say, "You sell me a." I remember this now. You sell me a defect dirty bomb. He's like, "The boss want to talk to you. Who is your boss?" And you can see the Joker face impressed. That's really rare. And then you see the leader of the Hezbollah. In that time, I don't remember his name. Yesterday, I researched it, but I don't remember right now. Really famous character in the history.
Right. Ayatollah Khomeini.
Thank you, Ayatollah
Joker
Khomeini.
gets into the car with him, like he
I
gets into
know
the. Oh,
it's it's crazy.
yeah.
And then there will be like the last part of the Dead in the Family when Bruce Wayne in this path to avenge Jason. At that point, Batman is not content of no, I'm not gonna use a gun. He's going to kill the Joker. Superman needs to stop Batman for the first time.
Right.
Told him, do not do it, Bruce. And blah blah. It's another simple story. It's nothing complex. I will not put that in the movie, but that will be the first part. And encloses so many important things for marketing, for development of character. Um, and my point is, I don't have a point. I'm just enjoying having this conversation. To be honest with you,
well, it was a hell of a story.
Yeah, it actually it's one of the few comic book stories that actually had long lasting impact in storylines, because everybody knew, like, there was this rule, right? Like there's some characters that just can't come back, like Uncle Ben being one of them, Jason Todd being the other one, and funnily enough, Bucky was the third one, right? Like these
Yeah,
were,
even they brought them back in a way or not, but they
yeah,
were for many years they were dead.
and
Sorry
and they
guys,
really
this is
couldn't,
extremely hot with the lights and everything.
right. Well, the impact their deaths had on the main characters just meant too much for the stories, you know? Like they just couldn't like make it go away. But
I still
they
have
actually
a
did a
question.
pretty good job bringing a Bucky back, you know, like in the Captain America. Like that was a great story.
Well, that was Winter Soldier. You know what I noticed, and maybe you can correct me, guys, on this. I think that from probably the 80s, they start buying scripts, DC Comics, and just adapt it to the superhero stories. Because I'm pretty sure many stories that we've seen, if somebody wrote it and they're like, oh, let's make this, Robin, or let's make this Batman, it makes perfect sense. Why? Because yesterday I was Googling this. I don't know if you know this information, but this is crazy. You know how many characters has Marvel created in his lifespan, and how many characters, including everybody, has DC Comic created in their lifespan? Do you guys have an idea?
It'd be well into the
I,
thousands.
yeah,
What kind
I'd
of number?
assume they're like maybe like very close number.
Well, Marvel, 10,000, and DC Comics 8,000. You know how much that is?
Yeah,
And we keep fucking it up with the same story in every movie.
Don't get me started. But thankfully, there are the DC animated movie catalogs, which I'd say 80% of them are stellar, 10% are okay, and I think only probably like 1 or 2% are like absolutely trash. But they've got a much better track record. But somebody brought up Bucky Barnes, and I just have to share this fact because it's a really, I didn't believe it the first time I heard it. Did you know that the original Bucky Barnes and I are from the same hometown?
Really, Faglan?
No, no,
Sorry.
no. And you can I viewers, you can Google this. Go to Wikipedia is where I confirmed it because somebody I used to work with told me. I said you're full of shit. No, Bucky Barnes and I both originally hail from Shelbyville, Indiana.
That's really fantastic. Actually, that's pretty cool. I
So
got an
I
interest. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I can say though, so I always say there's a universe in which Captain America hails from Shelbyville, Indiana, because in certain versions of the story, Bucky takes up the mantle.
Yeah, actually, that's right. So,
It's not Winter
yeah,
Soldier
that's
Bucky
pretty
though.
cool. That's pretty cool. I mean, I know for a lot of people be like, what's up with that? The only thing that Alexander and me can share is like maybe one big drug dealer was in from our hometown. So anyway, um, something I want to share something with you. You guys remember when the USA agent Walker was the Captain America? That's what we introduced him. You
right.
know that Bucky was his best friend, that he was an African American character. And actually, in that year, he pushed the character, pushed for the name Bucky to be withdrawn
Yeah,
because in the slavery, Bucky was a way to call a black slave, and it was derogatory. So that's why they changed the name of Bucky. And I found it really weird that after they did that in the comics so clear, and the new Bucky was black, and they changed their name,
yeah.
then they bring the same name again back to the movies. And that's my point. When they don't want to care about something, they really don't want to care about shit, you know? But anyway, um, let's forget about the second characters that are punies and let's go back to the.
Yeah, well, the
Uh,
thing about Jason Todd's Robin, he shares a lot of he shares some characteristics with Bucky, being that he was the sidekick for a very short time, you know? Like he didn't spend years. Like he didn't grow up in the role of just
No,
like
it
Buck,
was like 5 years. Yeah.
right? And then they came back at right around the same time. So
Yeah, they came back around the same time. They did
I,
a reboot, and I don't know if I talk about this, Jack. You know this, Alexander. We talk about this many times. That was the first time that voting for the fans mattered for our resolution.
right,
People, the whole year of Dead in the Family, because for other people don't read comics or more in that era, it's just one comic. It's the whole year of the combination of all the comics that will guide you to the story. At the end of the year, we have the annual, that is the manual. If you really want to go and buy it digital, you can pay like $10 nowadays to have the subscription. Or physical is gonna cost you like, well, that maybe that one is expensive, like $60, the good one. But that was the first time that they put in the letters. Before this time, people write letters to the editorial, and they put a page with the letters of the fans.
right.
And the editorial said, "We're not gonna put this. We want you to send us a letter if you want Jason Todd to survive."
Well, they had a hotline set up that
Yeah, I
you
remember for the last 3 months they did a hotline for the American Idol. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, it came from the comic books, for real.
yeah.
So people vote, and I was really shocked when I learned that, because how weird is to decide that we're gonna let a kid die. It was in our power. I personally sent a letter from Mexico saying no. Dude, it's Jason Todd. Robin is one of my favorite characters. Sometimes I prefer Robin than other characters. And I'm not gonna jump because we're talking about this topic. But the last Robin that we have today, that is Bruce Wayne's son with the daughter
They
from Ra's al Ghul,
Yep, Damien.
Damien. He's a kick-ass, but I want him to be my son. It's like, I mean, he will kill me, but I love the character because embrace everything that Batman can do. That's what Robin is. Everything that Batman can do. Even I like Drake, the next Batman, the next Robin.
yeah.
And then we have a really big mistake. No offense, feminists, please don't go crazy on me. But then we have a female Robin that lasts like 2 episodes because everybody stopped buying the freaking. Remember, from the future with the curly.
I mean, yeah, I remember
I mean,
that.
was there? Yeah, everybody remember that shit. It's like the Green Lantern from Ryan Reynolds, the female Robin.
We just don't talk about that one.
Yeah, I know. So when we have that voting and the people decide to kill Jason, it was really hard, and then became. But let's remember that the comic books is an industry, and for the industry to happen, they need to sell. And Dead in the Family has records till the day of how much they sold.
Yeah, it
I
was
mean,
really.
it was really good, man. The who did that? I don't know who did the drawings, but they were so real, man.
It was Jim Aparo. Actually, they did the two endings, right? Like they had the two endings drawn and scripted, and they actually did both. So when the time came, like when the deadline came, they would publish the one that got the most votes.
And I
Yeah,
think that's fantastic. I haven't been able to see the other one, and I research for it regularly, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to
it
see it.
actually it just came out. Like they just printed it like this month, I guess. Like it just came out like the version where he leaves, and
Probably because I've been looking for 20 years for this.
Well,
yeah,
they turned it into a movie too. They called it Death in the Family, and they give two different versions. I think it might be
In
more than
animated
two.
movie.
Yeah,
In animated movie.
yeah, but it basically picks up. Well, it doesn't pick up. It's in the same vein of Batman Under the Red Hood, which personally is my favorite Batman movie, including the live action ones. It's fantastic. But that's the story of Jason dying and then, spoiler alert, Jason dying and then being revived in the Lazarus pit and taking up the mantle of the Red Hood. But they didn't re-release. They called it Death in the Family, but basically it's multiple different endings, one of which Jason lived, and I think Bruce actually died somehow, some way. I haven't been able to watch it all in its entirety because there was some weird thing where Max didn't give me all the endings, so I could only watch one. but that's when the Joker gets rehabilitated, but Jason tracks him down at a diner and gets his personality to come out. Then he stabs him in the eye.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's a beautiful one.
of
And
canon also. Yeah.
that will be for me the last part of the trilogy. If I was allowed what I talk, the second part will be the Night's Fall. So Batman is really dark, guys. Batman is not the Michael Keaton. Is not the guy's serious shit.
That's why
Yeah.
I liked Batfleck, man.
Yeah, Batfleck is it was the
He
closest
was
my favorite so far.
everybody thinks I'm nuts. That because it was pretty obvious, at least Affleck and company, at least Affleck was going for this. He was going for a Dark Knight Returns vibe, but not quite a like geriatric old Batman. He was still physically able, but he might just like Alfred even says as much. He's like, "Do you think you may be getting too old for this?" And he's just like, "Well, not yet." But
Now here's my favorite Batman, but my favorite Bruce Wayne is from the Dark Knight. Physically, the trilogies with Nolan are way superior because they embrace a dramatic story with action and not a superhero story to sell. But we talk about that.
yeah, that's the movies.
But let me go back because remember, audience, I told these two guys, let's not get into the movies because we're gonna get into a rabbit hole that is gonna be forever. But
They're just so good.
I know the second one, and help me with this. I haven't read it in many years, but it started with Azrael first appearance of the dad of Azrael, if I'm corrected. That's what the first comic. Probably it's not in the compendium, but that's how everything started.
Yeah, the
We
sort of
the Sword of Azrael.
it's a one shot.
It's a one shot, but and then it restarted after when they released the comic Azrael. That I'm grateful to have every one of those in a beautiful storage that I need to go and pay. But that's another story. Thank you for reminding me, guys. Um, we see the beginning of Azrael, the shot of Azrael, and how Batman is a big escape from Arkham, and Batman is exhausted because he's been killing. Let's situate this. Batman doesn't go every night like a cop. Batman makes a rounds here and there, and then he take a case, finish the case, sleeps, and then take another case. I'm talking the mature Batman, not the for Batman in the comic first 5 years or the Batman in the comics the first 30 years. I'm talking from the 90s to the 2000. Batman is a detective, right? I know that for marketing devices, he's with the Justice League. But the reality, but in this particular case, he goes 3 months. I think they mentioned it, that the psychologist. It's been 3 months that the guy is working night by night at that speed, catching as many criminals as he can. And all this, you see that is a plot created by a lot.
There's two preludes to Nightfall where they introduce two of the main characters from the Nightfall story. One being Azrael in Sword of Azrael, and the other is Bane in Vengeance of Bane. Right? That's another one shot where they introduce Bane into the roster. So yeah,
And Ben is a first Latino with importance in the comic books.
yeah, he has like this tragic backstory where he's been living all his life in jail. He's being imprisoned because of the crimes his father committed, and then he gets into the venom steroid pumping it into his veins, so he becomes. But he's actually very very smart, like the one in the Dark Knight Rises movie, like that's the kind of Bane.
He's a terrorist. He's not a.
Yeah,
He's not a villain. He's a terrorist.
he's like a criminal mastermind, and the starting Nightfall, the Arkham escape is actually part of his plan.
Yeah, it's a big plot for him to
Right,
exhaust Batman because
right.
he
He wants
wants
to
to
try.
destroy it. Where's his nationality, Alexander? Because I know he was Latino at the beginning, then they changed it.
He's from an island,
Peruvian, right?
called
Santa Prisca, isn't it?
yeah, it's the one from the Suicide Squad movie.
Yeah, Santa Prisca.
Santa Prisca is for the people that remember that DC Comics and Marvel Comics. Marvel used to you always use real cities.
Yeah.
The DC put fake names in the cities. Now recently they start putting together, but there's specific places like Gotham. They're not gonna start calling it Chicago or New York. It's
Right.
Gotham. And Santa Prisca, if I'm not confused, is Cuba.
Right. Something like that.
It says
It's Cuba.
it's an island country in the Caribbean. So
It's Cuba. It's Cuba because uh, our
Uh,
friend Joaquin Cosio in the Suicide Squad, he's
yes.
the colonel, the general, sorry, and he's dressed like a Cuban uniform. So come on,
Right.
right? So yeah, Bane was the first car important Latino in the comic books. It was many in the past, but he was the first in my memory, right?
Yeah. So Nightfall, they wanted to do a story about Batman not being Batman, like Batman dying. Like they were trying to do to Batman what they did to Superman 1 year before with the death of Superman.
That they sold a lot of
I was
comics.
It was a big event. It was like I remember seeing on the news back then.
You and me, we run to buy the comics at Blue Castle, and I still have my black uh,
Have
bag
the back.
with the logo, and we open it with a poster, and the
Right,
poster is Louis Lane comics.
right.
What
So they
what good
do that
times!
to Batman too, but they didn't want to kill him. So what they ended up doing was they replaced Batman with a version that would be more in line with the 90s kind of anti-hero, by
Aggressive.
more aggressive kind of, like the Punisher, Wolverine, or Deadpool, kind of those guys that were more like they didn't play by the rules. That they didn't have like this moral standards. You know, but they did it in a way to prove him wrong. They did it to prove people wrong and like let them know that superheroes do have these high moral standards that
And you know what? I really love that they didn't kill him. I think that what they did, and I know we took a little part of it in the movies, but I'm trying not to think about that. I really try. But when he Bane carries him and break his back, that's what exactly he does.
yeah,
And he goes into a recovery for a year away because he's a stubborn, but his back is broken.
yeah,
And in his way of have this broken. Now let me explain. The venom that is put in Bane makes him bigger, stronger, faster, and as he's so smart, he's a special wrestler. He doesn't do UFC. He doesn't do jiu-jitsu. He's a special wrestler.
yeah,
So he carries him from the top of his hand and let him fall and break his back. It was really shocking. I wasn't as young as when was there in the family. I was an adult, a young adult. Probably not a young adult, but I was like 20. And I'm like, dude, what just happened? It was like crazy. It was so devastating. We didn't know what's gonna happen. We thought right away that Robin, the original Robin, Dick Grayson will jump,
was gonna take
but he
up the
doesn't want to. The mantle, he doesn't
yeah,
want to.
no,
I think he was afraid of Bane. I really believe that he was afraid of Bane.
I
Not
would
in a
think
bad
so.
way. Yeah, but not in a I'm scared. He's like he almost killed my dad. My
right.
dad.
He
I'm
could do that.
afraid because he did that to him, it's gonna destroy me.
Yeah,
So we needed that anti-hero, uh, Alice in Chains, plug, Jeremy spoken as wife, that is Jean Paul Bailey. What a
yeah.
great name. Let me clap for the person that invented Azrael, the son of Azrael. And let me just go really fast into Azrael.
Denny O'Neill.
Azrael, the O'Neill people in every comics are fantastic. whoever, they're not related. I know they're not related, but if your name is O'Neill, go and write comics because you're gonna be good at it. Um, Azrael is since the medieval times, the court of Saint Dumas has a
Right.
special seeker of angels that will be protecting the Saint Dumas that is hidden in the Alps, and that he appears in the book that I sent you, Jake, from Green Lantern. I don't know if you got a chance to listen to it.
I started, but I realized I wasn't going to be able to break it up, so I want to wait until because I was like, "Oh, this is going to be great." So I'm going to wait
And you
till I
fall
have like
asleep.
an. No, no, I don't want to fall asleep to it. I want to listen to it.
I
So
know. You know how many times I fall asleep listening to it. But anyway, so the Saint Dumas has this leverage of avenging angels that just go from father to son. In the future, we will learn that they are not actually father to sons; they are pre-programmed bodies, not as a clone, but pre-programmed bodies to perfection to have the system, as they call, that they will know how to attack. Blah blah blah. So Jean Paul Bailey Jr. He's studying college. Suddenly, his dad opened the door all full of bullets and tell him, "This is a bag. This is the thing, and you need to go." And he goes and learns that the system wakes up in him. But Jean Paul Bailey is a reflex of the generation. Even he looks like Kurt Cobain in many ways. It's on
Yeah.
purpose. He's the reflection of society that even you're surrounded by bad environment, you have the choice to become good. So he denies the system and embraces the John Paul Bailey.
For the time.
Yeah,
For a time.
I, I'm going there. I'm going there for the time because when the system kicks,
All right.
system is like diarrhea. You can control it, but when you gotta go, man, you gotta
It
go.
just takes over.
So, long story short, he becomes the new Batman. He goes and kicks Bane ass. But
Yeah.
after that, just in the last battle with Bane, because it's three battles, he changes his cowlets, and now they shoot the batarangs there, and now they're really sharp. He designs an armor that he's not the Batman, but he said, "I'm the Batman now." So shut the fuck up. It's my style. It's my moment. And when he fights, he doesn't lose Jean Paul Bailey, but he loses himself into the system, and he kicks Bane ass. Imagine how powerful is the system that the guy that destroyed Batman was easily destroyed by the system that it was inside his body. And he's not a superhero. He's not. He doesn't have superpowers. He's just probably like Captain America, that his body's to perfection, right? Have the capabilities of that. And then we go to the beautiful last, the end of my perfect trilogy, right? That is when Batman Bruce Wayne returns and tells Jean Paul Bailey, "You can go back to hell because you're going crazy. You're killing people. You're losing control." And he needs to kick the shit out of the system to Jean Paul Bailey come back, and and that will be how Batman returns to be the Batman. Correct me if I'm wrong. That will be the perfect second part of our trilogy to make the perfect movie, and I will release it in Halloween because it will be a lot of horror and blood.
Yeah. Well, for Bruce Wayne to come back, they actually did a little bit of a cop out there because the way they, I mean, the way they split the story into parts is after Nightfall. They did Night Quest, the Crusade, right?
The Crusade, yeah.
And then Night Quest. The other one was Night
The other
Quest.
one was the Night Return, the Night something like that.
One part of the story followed Azrael as he his Batman in Gotham, and the other one follows Bruce Wayne as he's traveling around the world trying to find a way to heal himself, which he ends up doing with the help of a doctor, like
The
a
Black Doctor that is a
right.
psychiatrist that happens to have killing powers.
Yeah, she ended up having like healing powers, and she healed his back, and then he came back with he actually went to train with Lady Shiva. Speaking about Lady
Uh,
Shiva,
Hold a second there. First of all, Batman was tapping that doctor.
Yeah, probably.
No, no, not probably. They become a couple,
Oh, right,
and
right, right.
together they go. No, no, they go together, and suddenly I think that they needed to be faster, and suddenly the woman remembered that he got power from his grandmother and touch his back and heal him. I mean,
Right.
dude, you are Batman. You can call the the the,
He
the
also has to.
Justice League.
I mean, he has to heal his mind and his
Yeah,
spirit as well as his body because he's defeated by Bane. He's like he's humiliated and he's ashamed of what happened.
he's like a professional athlete when his body's perfectly ready to go, but he doesn't want to go.
But
He's
He
he's
like
does
Booby from Friday Night Lights.
he's got the yips.
right.
And so he gets back, he kicks Jean Paul, well, he kicks Azrael and reminds him
He
that
has to.
Azrael is Jean Paul Bailey. And now we have the second story that I know that is probably never going to happen in this lifetime, but that I will have a second movie called Azrael. And I just need to follow that script, and you will have a side thing that will sell better than anything, right? But anyway, Azrael is a really good character
Well, I mean, it's worth
because
noting. It's worth noting that Constantine did pretty well considering most most casual moviegoers didn't know who John Constantine was. And there's a lot of
Right.
people that are actually still to this day clamoring for a sequel.
It's
yeah,
coming out.
What?
Yeah.
I did
It
not know
is.
this.
I guess it's
I didn't
coming
know
out.
that.
Yeah.
Did they get Keanu Reeves back?
Yeah, they did. Yeah. It's
Okay.
happening.
Well, that'll make money.
That would make money a lot.
Maybe they figured it out. Maybe they figured it out because I've always said something to the effect of like, I don't understand why they screw it up because, like you said, there are so many stories already written. It's the equivalent of turning on a money printing machine, and it's legal. Just
Don't get
you
crazy.
own
I'm
it.
just taking this thing. I'm dressed underneath. I'm totally dressed underneath people. But you don't understand. I got two movie reflectors in front of me, and I'm dressing four. So freak man, like I'm losing the weight that I don't want to lose. So that will with the Batman thing will finish my second one, and then the third one will be the Battle of the Cow. That is when Batman actually brings a family. And Batman, now we're in the 2010 when family matters, when we need to create and believe. And it's a different politics in the world, different influence, and we're becoming more open. And then we have a black Batman, and then we have a bad girl. And it's a really family. But then somebody fucked up Batman again. And it's when finally uh, Dick Grayson, it was his time. He takes the call and becomes Batman. And the Robin was I named his, Drake. Drake is the
It was Damien actually.
is Damien. No, it's not really Damien.
Well, by the time of the battle for the cow, like this is after Batman R.I.P. Like
Yeah, yeah,
where they actually kill Batman,
yeah. But
right?
but he was actually didn't kill. He was sent to another dimension again. So I
By the
wouldn't do that. It's not as important as the ones that we mentioned. So that's what I would just jump to the Battle of the Cow. So whatever the Robin is, I remember that somebody says that's not the Batman. He was smiling. Because
right,
he realized that's how they noticed because he's not as sour. And actually, he's talking to Robin, and he's like a funny Batman without losing the respectful
right,
portrait of the Batman. And then when Batman returns, it will be a great end for the trilogy. I don't want to tap into the Battle of the Cow today because we are a little we're not a time on time, but I don't want the people to go there. But if you like the Batman, put in the comments. We can just go and everything and do more interesting things. As you guys know, before we jump from the Jason that we were talking. Oh, right, sorry. The Battle of the Cow will connect to the Red Hood. My brain was like, and the Red Hood, because like the Red Hood, the animated movie is really good. But again, the comic is way better because he's more realistic, right? Even the Lazarus Pit is realistic, and it will be the perfect cycle of how Everything matters, people. You don't read Shakespeare and you just avoid a couple of details, right? To sell more because it's not selling enough. So the Battle of the Cow will transform into the Red Hood, and then we will close this perfect trilogy, seeing them fighting together to the Joker again.
And
Could
then
be a
we
huge moment.
and then we can make the Batman Beyond live action movie.
There you
That'd
go.
be very great.
That will be really great. But that's I think for me are the most important things about the Batman in the stories, and I just wanted to share with you guys and to the what you just told us, Alexander, that they just released the alternative ending, and that they're gonna do Constantine is an amazing news for all the comic fans. But I want to invite you to go from one Jason to another Jason. The next Jason is our second topic, and as you know, this is a Halloween special. And the other Jason, I was waiting for some
I lost my
sounding
cue.
over here.
That's Nino's job.
That's Nina's job. So Jason, Friday the 13th, unmasking the horror icon. So there you go, Jake. What you can tell us about Jason?
Not a fan. No, I always found, and to be fair, I haven't seen all of them. I've probably seen about half of them, but I have seen the first three, so it's.
So I got a question. You see the half of each one, or you see the half of the whole collection?
Half of the movies. My bad. Yeah. I always found it, which I mean, it is kind of a ripoff of Halloween, but I mean they did a different lore and all. I'm a much bigger fan of the Halloween franchise. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, Friday the 13th, it was always kind of to me. I know there's a
There were
lot of people
three
that
facts.
love it.
There are three
It's all
facts
about
that I
the
love.
hockey. It's all about the mask, like the machete, and the hockey mask.
There's three things that really move something for me, and correct me if I'm wrong. First one, a lot of titties in the movies when we were growing up. A lot of titties. I mean, that movie show a lot of boobs, right, in the 80s, and if you're 13, that's the only way that you can see
I really
one.
miss movies, man. They were so good.
They were so good because they were the same stuff, but without caring. Second, like you said, the mask, and the simple fact that we finally have a villain that doesn't talk.
Yeah,
That is really important.
Well,
Jason do not.
Michael doesn't talk
yeah,
either.
Michael Myers doesn't talk either.
Okay, but I don't like. I'm in the opposite area. I don't like Halloween.
Really? We're gonna have to
I'm
dig
in the
in.
opposite spectrum.
Us.
Huh? We're
I
gonna
mean,
have
they
to
like
dig
them
into that.
both, but if I go between Halloween and Friday the 13th, I like Friday. Correct me if I'm wrong. Who was first?
Halloween.
Are you
Yeah.
sure?
Yep.
Halloween's actually 1970.
79, and then Friday the 13th was 82, wasn't it?
1979. No, 1979, but it was just released after. They came after. They came at the same time, but they were from two brands. They were MGM and Paramount, I think. So they were exactly the same. So that is something that I say it for a reason.
It was a year later. It was 1980. It was released in
So
1980.
probably it was
Right.
released in 1998. Let me tell you something that happens a lot in Hollywood. Alexander and me were working together in a movie. Let's go back to 1978, will you? Hey, Alexander, I got a friend called Jake. He got a great idea. We're gonna make a movie about a guy that doesn't talk and wears a mask. Oh shit, that's awesome. That's awesome. Let's get together, and people start working together. But suddenly Jake says, "You know what? I want this to be Halloween." I go like, "What the fuck, dude? This is not gonna be called Halloween. That's just stupid for a Halloween movie. Let's make Christmas."
What do you
Right?
want to call it? The Babysitter Murders?
No, this is something emblematic like Friday the 13th. Oh, you're stupid. Blah, blah, blah. And then you have agents of the three of us selling and pitching the ideas to every possible person to have the money. So because when you're pitching the idea, you don't own the rights till you present it. Now all this is protected. I'm talking about the 70s.
Right.
One studio until the day you see Final Destination over here, like the Final Crash. Over here, you see if you realize there's always the Exorcist of Emily Rose, right? There's always the same because the agents need to be pitching to all the studios, and some studios say yes, some studios say I buy you the idea, and I put my director to direct that I don't want to trust in your kid, and that happened a lot. So, who came before? For real, I will not don't know because they're really similar.
Well, can I say something about that?
Sure,
Um,
sure.
I guess having an idea about making a movie about a killer, like having the idea of the movie, is one thing, but executing the movie, like creating the atmosphere, and knowing the shots you have to make it suspenseful, that's the magic behind, like for example, Halloween, like John Carpenter, like he knew exactly what he was doing at the time.
But that's what I'm saying. John Carpenter was a really experimented director that they gave him. He wrote Halloween.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he
That's
knew.
what we think.
Like when you're watching one of these movies, like one of these horror movies, and the main character, he does something like opening the fridge door. They open the fridge, and then when they close it, you don't know there's gonna be somebody behind the door, and there's not. Like those are like the little things that these kind of directors, like, they know how to do perfectly.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, who directed Jason the Friday the 13th?
I don't know, man.
Hang on,
I
I can tell you real quick. Let's see.
So the point is like, I mean, our fourth topic was Michael Myers, but now we're merging two, so that's pretty cool. The similarities and the differences of the movie are really important.
Yeah, Sean S. Cunningham directed it, and it was written by Victor Miller.
I'm pretty sure that Victor Mill and Cunningham just pitched it to the studio and they say, bring our best guy, who? John Carpenter. Since now you own it. That's how it works, people. Back in the day, now it's more protected. You can protect your script online and all
But
that.
well, we have to
This,
remember that Jason Voorhees actually is not a character in the first movie. He just he came in like in the second one, right?
Yeah.
So
now, one thing, the most scary thing about that Friday the 13th is being Latino and try to pronounce that last name. Oh, fuck, that's hard. Borges? Come on, dude.
so
And it's spelled Borges.
like for
Voorhees.
Michael Myers, like he became big immediately after the movie came out. Freddy Krueger, he became big immediately after the movie came out. But for Jason, it had to take like a few years for him to become like a staple horror character, because it's not until the third one that he gets the mask.
Call me an underdogs people, but I really like Jason Wade. Michael Myers, I watch the movies and I like them, but I never feel afraid of it. I like them. But Jason, I don't know if it just came to me. Just Jason speaks to me. I don't know why.
To be fair, I will admit this, especially in the later iterations, or sorry, the earlier iterations, I would agree with this even more. I think it's true totally. In a physical fight, I think Jason wins. However, they both are effectively immortal, but I think
Right.
Jason win. Like if you just had like a 3-round fight, I see Jason taking that victory.
I see a meme a long time ago that says that nobody will survive a fight with your wife, but Jason and Michael Myers. They will be defeated, but they will came back. I just
Yeah,
remember that.
it's part of the scare, right? Like the supernatural aspect, where you're not sure what's going on. Like you think he's immortal, but he's really just a man, but he's not. You know.
I got a question.
I was gonna say I was making a bunch of cracks every time I watch one of the Halloween movies. I always kind of, or any horror movie in general, really, I always just make the joke. I'm like, this is taking place in the United States. Nobody has a gun. Like, nobody has a gun.
Yeah.
Really.
Around, running around.
Well, they never tell us what state it is. I know they do, but what state? I'm probably.
Oh, it's in Illinois. That's why.
That's why. You see.
Remember that in the first one, she actually she shoots him, right? Like, didn't she shoot him in the first one? He survived the bullets.
Oh no, she doesn't shoot him. It's Loomis. Loomis shoots him.
It's Loomis.
It's Detective Loomis shoots him, and then he at the end of the movie he's gone, right?
Yeah, but he shoots him with a little gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bazooka would break him back.
He's full of medicine, right, and like experimental stuff.
Well, that depends on which. And one of the this is another reason I love the Halloween franchise is because it goes. There are several different lines of canon, so that depends on which line you're going through. Because the worst line of canon actually has the best logic. Well, take that with a grain of salt. They had the right idea, but the execution was, we'll just say it was flawed. The whole the supernatural aspect, I was like, oh, that makes sense. That's why he can't die.
Right.
So that kind of made it in universe. It made it plausible. All the other ones just kind of like, so he just can't.
He's high as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Like he just has a constant source of PCP and miracle drugs.
He's just like very, very angry at life.
I'm good. That's why he doesn't talk, because he's like.
So, $1 million idea for somebody on YouTube. Go through and do a supercut of Michael Myers' inner monologue throughout the franchise. Just like, oh, I'm so gonna shove an axe in his face later for that.
You're so dead.
You guys realize that sometimes he goes like this and stays still? It's because the munchies is coming. He's like, oh, Taco Bell right now.
He's like, is that turkey?
Drugs
are
are
more
wearing
like cheese.
Oh, dude, that's the twist. Shaggy from Scooby-Doo is Michael Myers.
Yeah.
You know what?
He's just trying to find his dog.
A beautiful thing about those movies is that we know something was gonna happen. We know that it's gonna happen, but we never know when was gonna happen. That's a beautiful thing. At least in Friday the 13th, bunch of kids, a cabin, that they always make the same mistakes. And now let me tell you something. And I'm gonna be anal with this. A lot of people don't freaking pay attention to details. They don't. Like, I know you two guys do, and you're my friends, because that's why we're friends. We're probably obsessive compulsive people here. Yeah, but you pay attention to details. The people in the movies are not dumb. They're just living in a safe place called America, that nothing is gonna happen to them. If you go to camping right now with your friends in Tepoztlán, well, you could be in trouble if you leave the door open, because but in the States it's a safe place, so that they become unaware of their environment. Yeah, the Batman punt. The Batman the movie punt. You need to be aware of their environment. So somebody with a little obsessive compulsive something will never die in front of these guys, because not even Jason or Michael are fast. They're not. Have you realized that?
Well,
I don't know.
They're patient. I mean, the victims are very much panicking. You know,
I know what I'm saying. If you go and walk fast, you're safe. But even we know that's the magic of those movies. You know that's gonna happen. You know that it's gonna happen, but you don't know when it's gonna happen. And that makes them really interesting to put you as a cliffhanger. Cliffhanger in English, or being in the edge of the seat in Latin America. That we will say that, right? But that's what is special from that. I don't want to tell you the news, Alexander, but Jake was just killed by Jason Bojorges. Ah, his real name is Jason Bojorges. I got it now. Sorry, people. That was for the Latino audience that is looking at us. I want to talk about the next topic with you. So, how we gonna eradicate Jake? I'm just kidding. Freddy Krueger is our next chapter. Nightmare of Elm Street. Do you wanna give a little run about what the movie is about? The franchise?
So yeah, going back to the like, Freddy is one of the most implicit supernatural villains in the horror genre, right? So he's actually a demon. So just by looking at him, you can tell because he's all burned up.
I thought he got a lot of kidney problems.
So he's this evil man who commits a bunch of crimes back when he's alive.
Being alive. Yeah.
Yeah, like he works at the school, I guess. He's like the janitor there, and he basically kidnaps a bunch of kids.
Yeah, he's a serial killer with the kidnap. He kidnapped the people that. It's a serial killer.
So a bunch of the parents come together one night and they go confront him, and they actually end up making him burn alive in the boiler room at school.
That before you say that, we're gonna move forward. That's actually an adaptation of Frankenstein, the monster.
Well, but the thing being that he's so evil that he leads to it. He becomes
he becomes a demon, a demi-demon, right?
And he hunts people in their dream.
We're talking about Freddy. We closed up.
I gathered.
Yep. So what do we know? What Mike Myers, the comedian, took that name?
I mean, that's his name, is it not?
Yeah, it is.
Dude, really, you really think that everything is like we put it in Hollywood, right? We have PRs that tell us what to say.
And he's really great. Now that we brought him into the conversation, he's really, really great, Mike Myers.
You know what? He was great. I think he gave up now.
No, I mean, for me, he's just like a comedic genius, like Wayne's World, Austin Powers. Those are great. I just
called it, of course. That's what I say. Let's go back in time using because of the Michael Myers.
Linda Richman, and like a bunch of his Saturday Night Live thing, you know. So
but
funny.
You think that's cyclical, and that's why he's not funny anymore, or you getting to the point that you have so much money and such a success that what is his last work?
I mean, he's the voice of Shrek. I mean, that's
I know that he started working, but what was his last work? 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
I was gonna say I don't know what his last movie was, but I just remember the last one I can recall was The Love Guru, and well,
Mariska Hargitay. Mariska Hargitay. It's one of the best jokes ever.
He's actually a dramatic actor too. He's not just in comedies, you know, like he can pull off.
He's a whole around.
Well, Inglourious Bastards, remember? He's like the general. He's an.
I googled Michael Myers' last movie and it says Halloween, the final end.
Yeah. He can't die.
So
He's
that's
forever.
so funny.
It's probably Bohemian Rhapsody. It's from 2018, I guess.
Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody. That's what I mean. He's not been doing a lot of things.
Well, he's older, you know.
Yeah, but I miss him.
We all do.
Yeah, but now he can just do what he wants to do, you know. That's kind of the double-edged. That's kind of the double-edged sword of when you're really, really good at something. Well, double-edged for the audience. It's very nice when somebody's so talented because he kind of, the first one I can think of, kind of like the Daniel Radcliffe thing. He made it so big with his first breakout role that after that he can pick and choose what he wants to do. So it's usually really good because he doesn't need the paycheck movies, right? But the problem with that is that when you have, you know, fans that like seeing you work, there's not as much of a catalog there. So it's kind of, that's the double-edged sword.
Okay, for people that want to know, he released a show. Shut up, me, Virus. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. He released a show in 2022 on Netflix called The Pentaverate. That
Right.
he's the lead character. It's a mini series that I never know that existed. So, I know that you guys don't care about my life, but I canceled Netflix because I was sick of couldn't find anything, and that's my way to boycott the system. And as an actor, obviously, I'm not gonna pay for Netflix till we come into an arrangement. We talk about this, Jake. I canceled my Disney, so I'm just I'm Amazon Plus because I'm not in problems with MGM. The office is next to them. I need to be shut the hell up. But and the Pentaverate, it shows the Illuminati logo, and it's Michael Myers, Lydia West, Jeremy Irons, Maria Menounos, Debbie Mazar. Wow. And Ken Jeong is there. Ron Love is there. Wow, Keegan and Michael Key. I gotta see this. So, okay, Netflix, I will hire you again just for this show. And he did that in 2022. Now it was rated just 6.1 of 10 on IMDb, and then he was in Amsterdam, the movie Amsterdam. But he's not. He's there, but he's not. I mean, he's sharing the screen with so many people, with Christian Bale, Margot Robbie, John David Washington, Alessandro Nivola. That I love that actor. I don't know if you guys remember Alessandro Nivola with Nicolas Cage in Face Off, the brother. He's Alessandro Nicola. In the movie Goal, he's the Italian player that helps Kuno Becker in the movie Goal, right? So that actor is so good. But anyway, a lot of people don't recognize him. Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Michael Myers is there. Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Really quick, I want to share with you, Virus, because believe it or not, this ties in multiple ways. I want to share with you an injustice that was done to a Latina star because of a Halloween movie. And all she was doing was trying to spread joy and make people laugh. In the Adam Sandler, I believe Netflix exclusive film, Hubie Halloween, which came out in 2020.
I remember the movie.
Yeah. Did you know that the one of the reporters they showed in the bits, like during the news footage, her name was Elena Pinto. She was fired after appearing in that movie from her, because she is a real television, she's a real, I don't know if she's a weather girl or a news anchor, but Boston WHDH fired her because appearing in that movie for, I think, all of 3 seconds violated her exclusivity contract.
Oh, really? Is she hot?
Extremely.
Then we care. Then we definitely care. Poor girl, you can contact us at Force and Corp.
Oh, it's okay. She went on to star in Don't Look Up, so I think she's doing okay. But
you know, another fantastic movie, Don't Look Up, is a really good movie.
Yeah, you know what's funny about Don't Look Up though?
Tell me.
Well, if you're a cynical asshole like me, you realize that they were basically trying to make a movie lampooning not just Donald Trump, but sort of the whole, like, what they would call science deniers, and they ended up in the movie being narratively speaking, being on the side of the scientists that were like, hold on, time out, this isn't making sense, because they're censoring the real scientists in the movie. But they frame it as like, oh, yeah, but I mean, like, real scientists believe this. It's like, well, yeah, but in the movie, the real scientists are ones that are being told to shut up. And I say that to people, and they're like, that's not what it is. I'm like, no, watch it. That's how dumb some of these people in Hollywood are. They're like, oh, we're going to show those Trumpers. And then they make a movie proving their point.
Yeah, that was a really good movie. That's a good analogy of the movie. It was a good movie, though.
It was a very good movie.
And it was released such in a good time when everything was happening in the world. And it's something that I always put my foot in. You'd want to know what's going on. And I can't believe I've been waiting for these guys a week and a half. Eagle from Again and Forever. every time we say again and forever, you gotta do that pose, Alexander. Sorry.
Let's do it again.
Do it. Take two. I'm forever. Thank you. He just sent me the new song that we're gonna release, and now I'm gonna be craving for 2 hours. Anyway.
Is it
Thank you, Ego.
Is it the one that I think
we
it
are
is?
doing a full album. Yeah, it's the one that you listen to the demo. We're doing a full album of reimagined songs. One is already in TikTok. We put a little previews. It's gonna be released next week. They told us our record label, Spotify and iTunes, are changing the name from Again and Again and Forever, and we're gonna be able to start the next show with the video here in our podcast. And the new one is done. You know what?
Hang on.
You want to hear it?
No, I'm going to do a joke. They have to wait.
Go ahead.
I'm just going to say this, and this is true, but it also is fun play on words. That song is still stuck in my head. I mean, it's all up in there.
Yeah, that's what she said. Sorry. I was gonna.
I mean, technically, she did say that.
Yeah, technically, she said that. The song, I'm not gonna say what song it is, but like we're reimagining songs, I'm creating stories behind behind this perception of the concept. And the concept that I'm creating for this new song, because we shoot the video, believe it or not, we have 4 videos ready to be released. 4. The next one I'm gonna shoot, and I'm gonna change the perspective. Usually, the original song portrays a love story that is not supported by society, but I sell bull. I create a perspective where it's a serial killer watching the TV, and when the person says something he thinks that he's saying to him, and because he's seen some movie where she's with somebody else, he go kidnap her and kill her. So I know everybody, I mean, at least Jake and Alexander are like, yeah, normal virus stuff. You see, your two-face are like, oh, that's cool, man. It's going to work great.
Well, I mean, we've heard it.
But but more than that. Let me tell you something. And this is not an again and forever. So, it's a Toon Talk 2.0, but I'm the co-host, so suck it up. Alexander, do you remember the time when we were like really young? And I told you, can you pick me up because we're going to go to a university of music that nobody knows me. And I'm going to make the whole place to have a concert for me because we need to film it?
Yeah, I remember.
Can you share it with Jake, please, a little?
So Virus calls me up and he's like, we're going to go to this music academy and we're gonna record a concert there, basically.
A concert, like, an audio and video, yeah.
Yeah. So we're gonna go to the auditorium, and we're gonna bring all the students in, and then Virus went up to the sound booth and he started mixing the channels and everything, and like the principal came down and she's like, "What's going on here?" And Virus was like, "Oh, we have this project where we have to bring your students in and they can even participate." And they had like a bunch of girls going in, like playing the keyboards, and you remember that? And we even attended some of the classes there. And so we had a whole day there. And so Virus basically put everybody to work there.
For free. They didn't know me, Jake.
You know, as long as in the scheme of things, as little time as I've known you, that doesn't surprise me one bit.
Man, it was really funny because I knew I had. Go ahead, Alexander.
Nah, I remember, like they were like, well, let's wait while they bring everything downstairs for the like to play the song live in the auditorium. And in the meantime, we went up to the classes and we started taking, like being there, like listening to the class, like. So we had like.
Yeah, we were students for a day, and let me tell you that I was there once before and I sent a letter, and as they didn't answer, I'm like, shit. So I went there and I went to the auditorium and I told the main guy in the auditorium, I already sent a letter to the principal. We're doing this today. You didn't got the memo? Another Batman joke. You didn't got the memo? And he's like, no. So I went in and probably was 19, 18, 20 tops. And I
Funny.
went there, and the engineers start moving everything, turning. I'm not talking about a little academy, Jake. It's the Academy of Music in the whole city. I mean, the place is big.
It's like the biggest
So,
one here.
and then I went over there's the Berkeley of Mexico City, and I went on of the talk to the supervisor. So they start bringing the audience in, and I look for the best looking drummer, the chorus, and I said everything. And I said, you record, they put the playback, and I record with people
And they
clapping
did.
and everything. And the principal come in and say, what's going on? I say, I sent you the memo. You got the memo in your email for a long time. We have a whole production going on, and it's his people.
Yeah, and we had
And
a
they
lot of students came in like to sit down and listen to the
and they're
song.
like, ooh. And I'm not famous at that point. Nobody freaking knew me, right?
Yeah.
I was that was before hard rock.
But the best part was like when the sound when the sound engineer was trying like to set things up, and you just came into the sound and you were like, let me just do it, you know.
Because people are so slow, Jakes. Sometimes I wish I could have the energy of that kid going and doing everything. I read something really interesting. That's something the way that I recommend everyone that watch and listen to this podcast to embrace. Let me see if I remember, because I don't think I remember perfectly. But a guy called the president. Well, how was it? The guy called the president of the bank, international bank, and say, "Hey, my son is gonna marry your daughter." He's like, "Who the hell are you? Oh, you don't know who am I? My son is the new director of Microsoft." And the guy from the bank is like, "So you want their son to? Okay, let's set it up." He hang up the phone and then he called Microsoft and say, "Hey, my son is gonna be the new CEO." He's like, "Yeah, who are you? You don't know? My son is gonna marry to the daughter of the president of the national bank, right?" Uh,
Okay.
that simple fact to understand the needs of what people want and make it happen will take you to the next level. One day I told Jake, "Hey," one day Jake called me and told me, "I want to interview your band." When I see the possibilities, I say, "Jake, let's have a podcast." He thought that we were gonna be a guest in my podcast, and I work for his company. You
Oh, I
know,
don't.
it's just
You know, we
you
work
don't
with
want to
each
say
other.
that, boss, but that's cool. It's cool to have a boss. I never had a boss in my life. It's cool that it's you, Jake.
That's always news to me. It's always news to me that I'm a boss. But I mean, that's a similar philosophy. But I first tutorial video in RTA Media when we walk you through how to start your podcast, I say rule. You'll hear me say it a million times. There's two rules: speed and consistency. And in the beginning, speed is a little bit more important, but it's speed. Go like everybody. I've probably talked to probably close to 30 people about since we kind of started this whole thing about starting podcasts. Maybe 5 have actually taken steps to do it because people don't get it. Everybody's like, "Oh, well, you know, I need to get equipment." I'm like, "Fuck that. You got a laptop? You got an
You got
iPhone?
a phone.
Yeah, you're
I
good.
got
You can start. Like your first 3 episodes are going to be dog shit anyway. Like that's don't let that stop you. Just start. Like we started our first podcast with some dinky camera set up in the corner. Actually, in our first podcast, the camera died. So for like a solid 2 hours, it's just audio with color bars. We didn't stop. Like, don't stop.
the reality of that. What you say is speed and consistency is the key for many things. If you want to be a sport person, an athlete, sports, right? Fast paced and consistency. You will be a professional poker player, right? If you're gonna be a good lover for your girlfriend, speed and consistency. I'm not talking about sexually only. I'm talking about everything in life.
And
You don't
hey,
want to
if you're
wait.
if you're gonna be a slasher serial killer, speed and consistency.
Ted Bundy, come on, speed and consistency.
Whoa, whoa, that took a turn. I thought Ted Bundy worked more slowly.
Not really.
I mean,
The
he
thing is,
played he played the long game, did he not? Well, maybe not. No, he didn't play the long
the
game.
thing is, he embraced his double personality. And that will bring us to our next podcast will be serial killer.
Oh, I thought you were
You
gonna.
know that
I thought you were gonna merge that into Saw. I was very proud of you.
as I was prepared to say,
Oh, yeah.
that was my joke, dude. Just stop. Uh, so yeah, let's go to the next. Oh, we never finish Freddy Krueger. We just say the little topic of it.
Somebody set him
The
on
mo-
fire. He's done. Let's go.
you don't like him either.
It's okay. So Freddy's another example of one of those things where the concept's great, but certain parts of the execution. Because the first Nightmare on Elm Street is a classic. Like that's. But then there's also things like Freddy versus Jason, where did it really need to be made?
I don't think so.
I actually made the joke because
Well,
I think that movie came out when I was 13, I think. So my friends and I snuck into the theater because it was rated R, right? But I actually said when we're watching the movie, I believe it's after Freddy does like a half drop kick, half bicycle kick, Mortal Kombat style. And I said, that's it. If one of these fuckers pulls out a lightsaber, I'm out. Because they've done everything up to that point.
yeah, it wasn't a bad movie. There's movies that they're meant to be bad and just separate you from reality.
That's true.
What was Jason X? Remember in the space?
Right.
He goes again Michael Myers, right? I don't know. I lost track of the bad ones, to be honest with you.
No,
But
but
Freddy Krueger has something cool. I mean, the glove. Remember when I bought the glove? And that when I was really proud in the store, dude, because I liked the glove. It's something cool. It was like merging Wolverine with Michael Jackson. I don't know.
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, Freddy Krueger would have never worked without the blade glove. Like that's the iconic thing about him. It's not even his burnt face. Like it's not even the sweater or
Is
the
the
hat.
hat? But if you
It's
see, you have the Kurt Cobain sweater, the Indiana Jones hat, the
right.
claws like Wolverine, and the guy's fucked up because he got bad acne when he was a
And
kid.
the great
So
performance by Robert Englund, right, where he's like real nasty and like.
yeah, I kind of like them. I haven't watched one from many, 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 many years. I don't even know what number of Nightmare of Elm Street we have, but I can't wait to see the new one with.
I just I always forget this comedian's name, and I'm because he's well known. Like he was in a Marvel movie. He was in the I almost said the Pretenders, the Eternals. He was in the Eternals, but he does this bit. He's like Freddy versus Jason. He was like, that was always a strange movie to me because there's a moment in the movie where Freddy turns and and the girl is black, and he says, dark meat, and the whole theater just groaned, and I'm like, really? He can kill children, but racism? We
Yeah,
expected more from you, Freddy.
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
even the name Freddy. I think that who wrote Elm Street, Nightmare of Elm Street?
Wes Craven, dude.
Who?
Wes Craven,
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's Wes Craven.
of
Oh, it's
course.
not bad, dude. I really like it. Probably from the three that we mentioned, probably Nightmare of Elm Street is the one that give me a better impact in going
Oh
to
yeah,
bed that night.
it's your favorite from all the horror, uh, new age, like new wave of horror character, like not taking into account like Dracula or
No.
Frankenstein.
I'm talking. Let's talk about from the late '70s to the whole
Right.
'80s.
For me is like number one. Like he's like
Yeah, me too.
the best.
There's a very interesting element that Freddy brings though, and is the fact that it's kind of you don't really think about it. You're safe as long as you're awake, which is kind of the alternate, like not that you're safe when you're asleep against Michael Myers, but you know what I mean. The fact that you can't fall asleep
Right.
is just adds to it because you know what's going to happen. You can't avoid it. You're eventually going to fall asleep.
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
the
I
thing.
remember something. Go
One,
ahead.
like in the first movie, like all the kids, like their angst comes from like they can't go to sleep. They're like, I haven't slept in days. Like I feel like shit. If I go
You
to
know,
sleep, I die.
Rick
That's
and Morty,
weird.
Rick and Morty episode 2 or 3,
Yeah,
when the family is the same, all fucked
yeah,
up,
it's genius,
and
man.
it's in their dreams because they're using a plug that look
Yeah,
into the dreams.
Yeah.
I just get into Rick and Morty after Alexander told me 5 years you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. And Stainer, Eagle, you gotta watch it. And then Jake, you mentioned you gotta watch it. Dude, I don't know if I hate the show and I love the jokes. I don't know how to explain it.
It's
That
genius comedy.
that makes sense because I didn't tell you need to watch it. I'm not a fan of Rick and Morty.
Oh, so probably we talk about it in a point.
Yeah,
I don't know over the phone or whatever. But when the uncle burps, it drives me nuts, dude. I can't stand somebody burping. Sorry, don't spit in front of me. Don't burp in front of me. Don't fart in front of me. You'll go and do it someplace else. So every time it burps, it really, and that's the genius of that because it makes you feel uncomfortable. But then they throw a joke that I need to pause because I'm crying and laughing, right, about it. So and yeah, I think it's the second or the third episode when he appears,
Well, if
Freddy,
you want
in a
to
way.
know a fact about Nightmare on Elm Street, the story is actually based on an old Twilight Zone episode.
I didn't know that. Please share.
Yeah, it's an episode where the guy goes to the psychiatrist and he goes to the psychologist and he's like, doctor, I can't sleep because whenever I go to sleep, I have these dreams about this woman and we're riding a roller coaster and she's happy, but then she's sad and then it's driving me crazy, doc. Like every time the guy goes to sleep, he sees the same woman in his dreams. And then well, the episode goes off the rails very fast. But the thing about it, like the concept behind it, is that there's so much we don't know about dreams, right? Like we just know it happens, but we don't know why it happens or how it happens. And taking it to a scary place is what Wes Craven did with his Nightmare on Elm Street, right? Like the concept of like when you go to sleep, you're in danger,
How
even
many
if
we have from that? How many movies are from Nightmare on Elm Street?
six.
Wow, I gotta watch more.
I mean, not
Nightmare.
it's six without counting the remake, because you have
I remember what.
the fifth one is uh, the Dream Child, and then the sixth one is the New Nightmare. The New Nightmare was the last one he made. Wes Craven's New Nightmare. That's the title of the movie.
Mm,
And then they did the
well,
remake, like like 10 years ago, like 13 years ago.
just for people to know, if you guys don't want to believe that there are good movies, the producer Robert Kenneth Shane, he just went and produced the Lord of the Ring film series. That's how good it is. The
The
producer.
movies are great, man. I mean, yeah, not counting the last ones. Like those are like the worst ones, like the fourth, and fifth one. But like the third one, like if you remember A Nightmare on Elm
The
Street
third
3,
one is the most powerful one, probably for me.
that's pretty great, man. That's very very good movie. I mean, like I can watch it
Wow.
like the times.
wow. Did you know that there was a Nightmare on Elm Street television series that ran for 2 seasons?
Yeah, Freddy's
Freddy's
Nightmares.
Nightmares.
It's actually really good. I used to watch it on TV when it came out.
Really? When when
Well,
when was that?
Looks like 1988 was when it was first produced, so it ran for 2 years. So
yeah,
So we have Nightmare of Elm Street in 1984, then Nightmare of Elm Street, the second one, 85, then in 87, then 88, then 89, then The Death of Freddy in 1991,
right.
and then 1994 the new Nightmare,
Nightmare.
and then all the way to
So
2000
that's yeah, and then
is the remake.
Jackie Earl. It's Jackie Earl
So
Haley.
I got the list. Is Nightmare on Elm Street. The second one is Freddy's Revenge. The third
Right.
one is Dream Warrior. Number
Yeah.
4, The Dream Master.
Right.
Number 5, The Dream Child. Then The Final Nightmare.
Right.
Then Wes Craven New Nightmare. Then Freddy versus Jason. and then A Nightmare on Elm Street in 2010, uh, the one that we didn't like, by the way.
Right.
That's pretty cool, but I think we should go and see a marathon. What? You guys never seen the league? The show The League? You guys remember The League? Oh my God. I know that you probably I don't know about that. I know that you like football, Jake, but you're not a super fan. But Alexander, I know you're a fan of football. The League is a show about four guys that they are friends in Chicago, that they have a fantasy league together. It's just for them. They don't care about competition. It's just them, and they do all around the games to fuck each other. And the richest one, they're high school friends, and the most successful, he's a surgeon, an aesthetic surgeon that poops loose, or he's millionaire, but he dressed all tacky, and in the whole 4 seasons, every time he says marathon, everyone's like, a what? He's like, a marathon. A what? A marathon. I mean, like, the guy's really funny, so that's what I say, just for the people that are not fans. It's over. It just lasts like 3 or 4 seasons, but it's really classy. No, it's a really classy, good humor. I mean, one of the characters is called Taco, and he's always high, so it's pretty cool.
Well, speaking of the league, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Do you want to play a game?
You go. And now we're gonna go to the thing that is craving in Jake's butt. Saw, the Saw franchise. Yes, Alexander.
What?
The Saw franchise. I just, cause you want to play. That's what you say when you play, right? The next topic.
You said
If I'm
something about
mistaken-
you said something about a butt.
Oh no, I never said that. You need to learn more English, man. You're stepping out.
I'm a big fan of the first Saw movie.
I loved it until, well, yeah, the first one is very, very good, and then it kind of flip flops for me. I liked the fourth one. By the time we got to 5, it's getting a little ridiculous. And then I think I don't even know what number they're at now. I remember 7 was the one I was like, okay, how long's the guy been dead? Like,
Right.
come on. Although the nice twist was spoiler alert, the nice twist was Lawrence Gordon being his actual lieutenant. I liked that. I liked that twist a lot, because I was always like, well, yeah, but what happened to him? Because we never saw a body, and presumably he made it out because he technically won the game. So that was a nice little twist. Plus, I like Carrie Yules a lot.
And I mean, James Wan being the franchise creator of the Conjuring universe, that
Right.
makes it good for me, because the Conjuring are probably one of my favorites movies. Forget Annabelle and forget The Nun. I haven't even seen those, but I've seen the 3 ones from the Conjuring. They're scary and enjoyable. So that he was allowed to do that because he did Saw. And Saw, the first one wasn't a horror movie. It was a psychological thriller. Detective.
I always kind of equate. I've said this for many, many years. I'm like, Saw is technically like you said, Saw is technically a suspense thriller with some horror elements, but it's not. Yeah, like you said, it's not really a horror movie per se. Like,
It's a police story. It's like a
pretty much.
It's a detective thriller. Okay, I got the list here. Are you ready? They're really creative with the name Saw, Saw 2, Saw 3, Saw 4, Saw 5. This is crazy. Saw 6. But this one changed the whole perspective. Saw 3D. Then Jigsaw,
Wah, wah.
then Spiral, and then Saw X. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I saw 1 and Saw 2, and I didn't want to saw anything else.
That was so funny when those movies came out. When the first one came out in the theater, everybody was like, "Are you?" There was always a joke. It's like, "Are you gonna go see Saw?" And it's like, "Nah, man, I haven't been on a playground in ages." They're like, you know what I meant. So then it became, "Have you seen Saw?"
Have you seen Saw? Yeah. I mean, if they learn how to speak English, they probably supposed to say, "Have you seen Son?" But it's okay. Uh, from everyone that we talk, which one is your favorite one
Oh, of the franchises?
of everything? I mean, Saw, Friday
I
13.
I gotta go with Halloween. I like.
Which one?
Oh gosh, that's the
Like, I'm
cop.
talking about everyone.
Yeah, the cop out would be the first one, but let's be real. The first one is there's some elements that are dated, although it does hold up surprisingly well. Um, that's hard. And then the Rob Zombie, the first remake has a lot of merits. The second one was dog shit. Um,
Agree.
but the first one has a lot of merits. That's really hard to say. And plus, I was traumatized by Halloween 2 when I was young, so that one doesn't sit well with me.
I was too. I love the one in the hospital. That was a great
Oh,
The
I
movie.
one
was
in the
trauma.
hospital is really good.
Yeah, I was traumatized though. I don't remember how young. I was very young. And it was so weird because I was at my grandparents' house and they used to just have the TV on, but it would be muted. Halloween 2's on. I had never even seen the first one. And it's the scene where he dunks the woman into the boiling water. And I'm a small child with zero context, and I just look over and I see people being brutally murdered, and I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, that's funny. What about you, Alexander? What favorite movie from the ones that we talked in the
That's
horror area that we just talked?
Nightmare on Elm Street. It just
The first one?
marked my childhood. It's the third one. It's the Dream
Third.
Warrior. I love that movie.
Yeah. For me, oh my God, this is harder than I thought. I see you say that. I saw say, oh my God. I think I'm gonna go with Friday the 13th, the first one.
I
Really?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
the lake is important for me. The lake is I don't know, maybe because in that time in my life, it happened something similar to Jake. I watched that in a beta. Remember, not VHS. It was a beta.
Right?
So I stole that beta from my cousins, and I like pack it in my backpack, being like really young, and wait to go to my house, wait that everybody falls asleep, go back, and everybody's sleeping, and play it by myself in that humongous living room. So that impacted me because I was committing a crime, right? In my mind, right? I just took a VHS from that I returned. But and I do it. I remember that I played the record, to rewind it, and it's like, I'm like, shit, I'm gonna get caught. So the adrenaline is going up, and then I push play, and I don't know if you remember this. No, we weren't friends at that time. My dad was he was a really successful guy back in the day, right? So he got a projector. So if you want to watch a movie in my house, it was a projector, like a movie screen that I wasn't allowed. It was like a disc hole that projects everything. Because I'm talking about the old projectors in the 80s that you couldn't even see because you were going to go blind, right? That was the rule. So turning all that up and being with the volume really down, it was so tense. And I watch it. Probably I don't remember if I watch it complete. Probably I fall asleep. But it got so stuck in my head that's probably was my favorite one. However, the most scary movie that ever existed uh, is Rob Marshall's The Little Mermaid. That's a really horror movie. Sorry, I couldn't help myself. Uh, no, but that would be the one for me. Um,
I got a question for you guys though, because I think this could get into really interesting before we close.
yeah,
In your estimation, what would you say is the scariest movie you've ever seen? Like legitimately terrifying.
as an adult, okay, let's add something. Let's say the one that was scariest as a kid, as a young adult, as of now, because there
I
are
got.
three different things. So who goes first? The kids one.
I will.
All right.
So the scariest movie I've ever seen.
As a child?
First, as a child, it has to be The Exorcist. because it
Stay there.
really
Tell us why.
well just looking at the girl, listening to the voice and yeah, whole neck thing and
Yeah.
just because it's such a great movie, it really scared me back then. Like even now I can watch it I know it has
You just
it
watch it, right?
more, but it's just so really 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 well done. Like the whole pacing of the movie, and you really believe it. You really believe they're trying
You
to
went
exercise.
to you just watch it again, right? Remaster in the movies. You went
I
like
actually
3 weeks
went to the
ago.
movies and watched it, yeah, like a couple of weeks ago, like three
That's
weeks ago.
fantastic.
But
What
yeah,
about
it's
you, Jake?
As a child, I gotta say like I said, I was traumatized by Halloween too. So I resisted, and I'm not even when I was really young. I'm not a fan. I'm not a huge fan of horror movies. I have appreciation for, like I said, the Halloween franchise, but I don't enjoy the horror genre. Well, with some very rare exceptions, because I have seen some really stellar horror movies. The most recent one was Smile, which I'm not gonna say was
It's really good. No, bro, it's really good. Smile.
no. It's
I
good.
wrote the
It's
song Smile
yeah.
because of that. It's really good.
No, it's not. What I mean by that is, like, it's not good in the sense that it's like abjectly terrifying. And like, if you ever see a movie with me in a horror movie, just know I'm gonna jump. I'm a jumper. Jump scares get me. Like, I'm just shit. I'm that guy. But probably my biggest fear, the thing that gives me the most like anxiety as an adult, is feeling like I don't have control. And I know having control in life is an illusion anyway, but like a movie like Smile, where there's literally, I'm not going to spoil the ending, but
Yeah, no, because it's really recent and
yeah,
deserves people to watch it.
like the way it's presented is you feel her feeling of helplessness, and there's all these times where she think, don't you do that. And plus that's unnerving as hell for me, man. Just the odd
No,
smile. There's something in the brain that, like,
let me
don't
do it for you.
don't you do it. See, but it doesn't work because you stop that. You stop
Yeah,
that.
stop it.
But
I know.
just you, like, that level of it, they do a fantastic job in the movie of you feeling that anxiety and the feeling that
Yeah.
you're never ever safe. So I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I'd say
So
as
as a child
Halloween.
is Halloween. Let's go in rounds.
Yeah.
What I'm gonna tell you is gonna blow your mind because 98% of the audience, 99 will not know what I'm talking about. It's established because the people that follow us that I've always been a rebel, right? I always want to go outside the box.
Are you going to say
In
Willy Wonka and the
Mexico,
Chocolate Factory?
no. I'm talking about a scary movie.
I know
In Mexico,
some people find Willy Wonka scary, but go on.
well, it will be scary. Yeah, if you get a joint before, of course, it's scary. But in Mexico, in Mexico in the 80s, or probably the night, yeah, the 80s. After 11 p.m. in the channel 11, they put a Mexican movie, like it was rated R, like hardcore R. As a rebel, I got this little TV that my dad brought from Japan. That it was a long Mitsubishi that you changed it with the you change it with your hand. Was that, remember those? So I put
right, right.
underneath my bed. Remember, I put underneath my bed that, and I just cut what it was like the antenna, right? And the movie's called, oh my God, how you say matanza in English? Massive murder in the Rio Bravo. Massive murder in the Rio Bravo is the most scary movie I ever seen because it started like this. And I know it's your face, Alexander, because like I say, 99% will not know this movie. I tried to Google it, and I found some trailers in YouTube, and I couldn't watch the trailer. How much impact me? Give me a second. Humor me. I'm not kidding. I'm a pussy rebel, right? You want to scare me? You don't come to me with a knife and then just tell me mass murder in the I look at my skin. I wish you could see my skin. This movie started with this is based on real effects, and it's about a coyote that pass the people from Mexico to the States, but as they passing them, they put them in a cave, and he kills and rape everyone by one as a serial killer. I was probably 6 or 5 years old, and I'm watching that shit. I can't scream because I'm underneath my bed. My nanny will come out and get more angry at me than actually my mom, right? My mom will take the TV away, so I'm silent, compressing, and learning how to compare. How do you say that word that I always have a problem with? Compartmentalization. How do you say that, Jake? When you need to.
Compartmentalize.
Thank you. Every feeling the next morning, I carried that movie easily like 5 years in my mind, and suddenly that's the most scary movie I ever seen. Because if we watch it right now, it will be a cult movie and an artistic movie from a Mexican creator with no budget. But when you're a kid, you don't get those kind of shit.
Right.
Time passes, and I actually one day I remembered that clip, and I went to YouTube and I tried to watch it and I couldn't. So there you go. That's the most scary. Yeah, you don't become a crazy rock star because you pick up daisies in the morning. So yeah, as Matthew McConaughey will say. Sorry. Go ahead.
Recommend another scary movie that people might. I mean, I find it very.
Wait. You gonna do a recommendation? Hold it, because we haven't got in the recommendation.
Oh,
Why don't you do? Why don't you tell us your most scary movie when you were a young adult?
oh, right. That's what I was going for.
Oh, sorry.
So you know the Grudge movies, the Grudge. You know the woman, pale face with the kid with the, but the Japanese one, the Japanese version.
We saw it together. Remember? Oh my God! Let me stand up straight so the thing goes down.
Yeah, like sometimes if I'm in my room, like everything's dark, and I like start seeing shapes of whatever's moving around in the dark, like I get that image in my head, of the woman.
The ending of that movie is the Japanese version. I never see the American version. The Japanese version, when I saw the end, remember we watched it together. It was like 3 a.m. in the morning.
It's really, really scary.
Because let me
'Cause you
tell you guys that Alexander used to come to the house and he didn't stay over, but we played till 4, 5 a.m. in the morning, video games or whatever, right? Or we watch movies till the point that, I mean, we've been friends for 30 years, 25 years. So I fall asleep and then he just leave, right? And leave
yeah.
a dollar bill in my underwear. I never got that. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry. It's a joke. It's a joke. $20 are $20, people. Come on. So no, so I remember that movie. I couldn't go to sleep. And we watched the movie and you were like so shocked. And I was so shocked, like, okay, good night. All right, good night. Silence, dude. We didn't talk about it like in 2 days. Like,
I mean the aesthetic of the woman coming out from under your blanket, and like doing
yeah,
this
it
noise.
was. Oh, yeah.
That's awful, man.
Yeah, that's a good one. I totally forgot about one. Good call, Alexander. Young adult, more scary movie, Jake.
Young adult. I don't know. That's kind of tricky. I'll give my. I know I'm mucking up the order. I'll give. Well, what would you consider young adult?
That's what I open it so much. Let's say you're not a kid, but you're not an adult, so it's really
So
open
like
to
your
whatever. It doesn't have to be
20.
released in that time. Is when you watch it from, let's say, from 15 to 25.
So
Let's say
I'm going to really embarrass my. Well, no, wait, I was a kid. Never mind. I'm not going to embarrass myself.
more than what you had embarrassed yourself.
Oh, this
This
one's
podcast.
this one's bad.
Okay.
When I was a kid, I had a lot of really irrational fear reactions that I'm not proud of, but that's another story because it wasn't a horror
Gluten
movie.
is not a movie, Jake.
I love gluten. I can't really think of one because when I was a teenager, I didn't really watch a lot of what horror movies I did watch were either so ridiculous because by that time the horror genre was really suffering So
Yeah.
they were either ridiculous or I just didn't see them. So that's
Or
really
probably something that you watch in that age doesn't have to be released in that era. Because mine wasn't released in that era, but it was the most scary
okay.
for
No,
me.
I got one. I got one. I realized this, and I wouldn't like it wasn't like scared shitless, but it had to do with where I was in my life. Like most things we're afraid of, right? So when I first saw The Exorcism of Emily Rose, and I steal the line from the movie, it was like it scared the hell out of me. But you have to understand, I was going through my crisis of faith at the time, so that really like reignited the fear of eternal damnation, like hardcore. Because that movie, well, that movie to this day still holds up really, really well, and it's
Yeah.
masterfully done. I highly recommend it. Not so much because it's scary, but the actress, I forget her name at the moment, but holy crap, knocked it out of the park. And then
Right.
now I laugh at that line where he's like, "And you stood up to Satan, and how did you react when you stood up to Satan himself?" And he goes, "It scared the hell out of me." And it's like, yeah, I'm sure it did.
um, for me, was the Night of the Living Dead, the original one from George Romero.
Did you
How
say
you
the
forget about
original?
that?
Did you say the
The
original or the
original one.
remake? Oh,
No, the
dude.
original one. The
Oh,
original one, I never watched it till I was probably a young adult. Like I said, probably I was when I started getting into movies. Uh, and I probably one was of the first movies that actually make a research about everything. And when they're eating the rest of the people, it was really. I mean, the movie's an inspiration because when you want to do something, you go and do it. Many years again, I was a kid. I wasn't into. That's probably how I started to analyze movies and wanted to be a director and all that. I thought that was Sidney Poitier, the original actor, because they really look similar.
Yeah.
And that's what makes. And back in the day, you didn't Google it. You actually need to go to a library, right? I was like 16, 17. I don't even remember what country I was. But when I saw that movie, the overweight person that was in the second floor, man, that's scary.
It's a
That was
great choice.
scary. And just a little parenthesis, I don't know if you people knew that they thought that it was going to fail brutally. I mean, the movie was released a long time ago, so spoilers alert. The only survivor, they shoot him in the head. And the day that they was going to release the movie, the day that they released the movie, being an independent movie that three guys like us reloan their houses to pay for the whole production, and they do it themselves. That's what everyone at this point can make Night of the Living Dead without paying royalties anymore because they didn't register the concept or idea. So it's open, and these guys bet everything, their houses, their life, to make the movie. And the day that they finally got their release in a few theaters, the night before or the day before, no, the night before, they killed Martin Luther King with a head in the shot in the head. So the
Oh,
creator is driving in the way to Pennsylvania to the premiere, and they listen in the radio and they go like, "Oh my God, this is really sad, but we're done." Nobody will accept the movie that at the end the African American that we wanted to make the hero gets shot in the head when this just happened. Nobody make the connection in 25 years. No one make that connection. Good, because that movie became a really good movie, scary movie that will be mine.
but did they change the ending though? Did they change it at the time?
No,
And then
actually, in 2006, and you saw that it was a time in my life, Jake, before I moved to America, that I collect movies. So I got all the boxes. Remember that enormous wall that I have full of metal things? The Blu-rays that released so many years after, it was the interview that says the first time I'm going to say this. And no, that was they didn't have money. They barely finished the movie.
because it's a great ending. I mean, it's great. I mean, the guy survives the whole supernatural thing, and then
Apocalypse, and then
right,
that society kills him because if you're different than a survivor, it's not enough. You need to. We're living it with Donald Trump
because
right now.
fear makes you do irrational things. That's what fear
Yeah.
does.
What are you talking about? Uh, What about as adult, your most scary movie as adult, Alexander? It's gonna be hard to pass the one that you said, but
You, this is a very scary movie, especially the ending. Okay, are
which
you
one?
ready? It's called. Can you guys help me googling it? It's called Summer Camp.
Are you talking about
Okay,
Okay, this is the title. Sleepaway Camp. That's the name of the movie.
really?
It's
I
an 80s
never
movie.
seen that.
1983? Yeah.
It's
Summer camp?
scary. If you want to watch the clip, it's on YouTube. The clip of the ending, do it under your own risk, man. It's really scary. Sleepaway Camp.
I'm the
And if you
sleepaway
ask
camp.
me, it's a perfect movie to remake nowadays.
Okay, I'm watching the sleepaway camp. Wow, wow, wow. You know what? That this is pretty cool.
It's
Yeah.
a real
Uh,
scary movie, and it should really if they can find a way to remake it today, they should, because it's I think it's pretty relevant today.
and that gives me a great idea. Well, you know what we should do soon, Jake? Do reactions to all trailers, the three of us,
Oh,
for
that'd
the
be
podcast.
hilarious. Yeah,
The
that'd
three
be
of
good.
us just saying things. I think that you know what? This is really funny. I just got a memory. The year was probably 2004, and I told Alexander, it wouldn't be great that we could be the narrators of the NFL, but coursing and everything. He told me we will never. It's gonna happen. Remember? That was one of my genius ideas. Nobody supported. Now I go to TikTok and I see it. I go like, I don't even want to do it anymore. Like those memes that says the guys from Milli Vanilli saying, "Look how everybody's becoming rich and famous in TikTok doing lip syncing." That's what happened a lot.
Yeah,
What
which
about you, Jake?
So
What?
yeah, as an adult, this raises a lot of eyebrows when I tell people this, but then I explain why, and it the very serious. You're like, okay, I get it, because this goes back to that whole like biggest fear being helplessness. The movie Brightburn. Now it's not scary in the sense of I was like, oh my god, but I'm in the theater thinking about it. I'm like, if that were real, that would be just absolutely terrifying, because there's literally nothing you can do. And by the end of the movie, the only person who knows how to even hurt him is dead. So
right?
your host, and that movie does some really. I had the advantage of seeing it in Dolby, so they do some really creative stuff with sound in it.
In Doubly,
In Dolby.
Spinal Tap. In Doubly,
Oh, it's,
Spinal Tap joke.
but yeah,
Spinal Tap joke.
but yeah, the concept and just that, and I love the way they did it, because it would have been very easy to just be like, oh, it's an evil alien, but the way they did it was very. I don't know why I'm blue all of a sudden.
I was gonna say, Ben, I don't know what you did, but it's just scary. Oh, come on.
I'm trying to fix it anyway. Um,
Now he's a wizard.
it's it's
Blue.
I don't know. The movie's been out for a long time now, so I figure if you haven't seen it, then spoiler alert. But like the fact that they go into it with it's a hive mind, which I felt so smart in the theater, because I think I caught onto it faster than a lot of the other audience did. I mean, they made it pretty obvious, but I was like, oh, he's a drone. That's really scary. So even if you kill this one, like there's more. You're just screwed.
Yeah,
And you mentioned something. Horror doesn't mean that it's got to be scary, fantastic, or supernatural. I'm the kind of person that when decide to see a horror movie, I'm gonna go and get scared. If I'm gonna see an action movie, I'm gonna go there and get excited. If I'm gonna see a comedy, I'm gonna try to laugh, right? Um, so probably as an adult, you mentioned a smile, and we talk about the Conjuring. But a smile make me finish the song, run to my house and, record the song Smile that I wrote right away, because it created and not an inspiration. I needed to express the feeling, because it's really scary. But that's so hard. You guys remember Rob Zombie directing Chainsaw, the Texas in the that's the one that he directed.
Well, I
Probably
know
that.
Friday
he
the 13th.
did Halloween, but
Which
Yeah,
one? What Rob Zombie did another one. Pretty
he did a
sure.
bunch. Yeah, like House of a Thousand Corpses,
That's the one. No, no.
the,
Keep saying that's another one.
the Crazies.
He
He
did
did
well,
one
a,
that the family was a cannibals.
right. His wife is in the movie.
Yeah, that the family's a cannibals, and
Yeah,
it's happening as I don't remember the name, but that one. Imagine how scary it was for me that I erased it from my hard drive in my brain. Really, I remember that I went like, wow, you can be a rock star and you can be a movie director. I need to move to America. Hell yeah! I'm not working yet. We're
wait,
working that.
did you know that Rob Zombie directed a remake of The Munsters?
the monster. It's about to come
Yeah,
out.
Huh.
yeah.
Yeah,
When Jake does, huh? We don't know what to expect. What other one he directed? That was like 2000 and something. The
dude, I
one that
love
I'm
Rob,
saying.
man. He's I love
I
White
like
Zombie.
more. I'm like him more as a director than as a rock and roll artist. But I
I love.
respect him the hell of it.
You don't like his music? He's got some great songs.
I don't say I don't like his music. I respect him more as director. I went to see a show that it was Rob Zombie. Ram no was Ramstein, Rob Zombie, and Kiss in Mexico a long time ago.
Sounds great.
And I was like, great Ramstein, woo! Then they Rob Zombie kick it out the ass. But then Kiss came and made me forget. But anyway, I'm pretty. Which one is the Texas Massacre? Who directed that one?
You're talking
Like
about the remake?
The
yeah,
remake.
I don't know who did that. The
I think
original
that's the one.
from Tobe Hooper, right? It's
Yeah, but I never watched it complete. It just didn't. Uh,
Let's
zombie.
see.
Mm,
It was directed by David Blue Garcia.
mm,
if you want something done well, call a Latino. I don't know if you realized, Jake, that our last podcast has a lot of views and the shorts because just what you say about Star Trek.
I
So I
said
just
what I
want to
said.
tell, I just want to tell to all the audience, just go hard on him. He hasn't learned. He hasn't learned.
Hold on. I said what I said.
Yeah, it's the
the,
House of the Thousand Corpse. Yeah, that's the one. The House of the Thousand Corpse. That's really scary. Now, if you really want to call about, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm trying
Oh,
to turn myself not blue again.
oh, if you're blue, you're blue. Just go.
It's a really weird quirk with this camera because we use the same one for the Average Intelligence podcast, but it turns green sometimes.
Well, let him express himself. Uh, recommendations, guys.
I
Now
assume.
remember that we're gonna have Halloween, but that doesn't allow us to. We can recommend whatever we want. What kind of recommendations are we doing today?
I figure just a movie. We've already kind of recommended a lot of. So let's just throw out one more movie, I guess.
Okay, go ahead.
Um,
Who's first?
I'll go
Go
first
ahead.
because you're a fan of the Conjuring universe. I don't know if you've seen this one. It was the only Annabelle movie that I enjoyed. Annabelle Comes Home. That movie was extreme. Like the story made sense, and it was. I don't know what the right word is. Like it's a small scale story, but it worked really well. It was legitimately terrifying at times, and acting was good. The effects were good. It just made sense, and it was a movie that I was not expecting much out of, and I was like, wow, this is awesome.
I got something. I don't know. I recently, probably last week, I watched the Tree of the Conjuring again, and I was able, because of HBO Max, to watch everything but one. That is the last one from The Conjuring that is in Amazon. But I actually paid for it because I wanted to see the trilogy. And I was this close to start watching everything because, yes, people, As you know, I don't know if I mentioned this, Jake, but I own a Waterloo car wash. I
Really?
said it a couple of times. How does that work? Yeah, www.drysplashfranchises.com. It works. It's magic. I'm just gonna say it's magic now. It's like when Jake turns blue out of the blue. Your opinions are coming out of the blue.
Yeah.
Um, so the Conjuring, the one in England, is really scary. But the first one of the Conjuring, if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch it. And if by any reason you watch it and you want to go and involve yourself in the world of the Conjuring, that universe, that would be a good way to do Halloween, right? If you're crazy like us that we want to see a marathon. What? Yeah, a marathon. So that will be my recommendation. The universe of the Conjuring is, I think, is lately the most solid horror films that we have. That universe. Alexander, recommendation?
I have a movie I really like. It's not really scary, although it's supposed to be. But it's just I love the director. I love the actors in the movie. It's Drag Me to Hell, like Sam
It's
Raimi.
good. Yeah, it's not bad. It's not scary, dude. Drag Me to
It's
Hell
not
is a
scary.
good movie.
I love that movie because the performances are great. I think Justin Long is a great actor. Um, Alison Lohman, she's just lovely in everything she did. I think she retired now. There's a
No,
Mexican
no.
actress in the movie, Adriana Barraza. Remember her from
Yeah, of
Amores
course.
She's the mom in Amores Perros, remember?
Wow, we're getting old.
Yeah. The ending of that movie is just.
It's just his like Justin Long's his face at the end when he can't believe what he's watching. He's like
Even the poster is fantastic.
crying and terrified. I love that scene from the movie.
Well, it's Sam Raimi.
Yeah, he's great. He's great.
Uh, do you guys remember now that a movie that is scary but it's not scary at all? The Dawn of the Dead,
Right. That's Zack Snyder's.
Zack Snyder's, because I make the connection with now superheroes and we are a podcast about entertainment and yeah,
That's a,
Zack Snyder. That movie is not bad, but it's kind of scary.
I mean, just watching the zombies run for you, that's scary enough.
And the baby that is black and Russian, that must be scary. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding. Don't get crazy on me. Don't.
that's
I
some
don't know.
memorable moments from those movies, from that movie.
If you realize how many times I need to contain myself for what I really want to say, but I know that people that see us know that I course and I'm politically correct or whatever the fuck you say that. I hold myself so much. I've been watching a podcast about these three guys, Jake, that interview women. I don't know if you see them. They're
Oh,
really
Yeah, the
famous.
whatever podcast.
yeah.
Yeah, the whatever podcast.
Yeah,
They have. I've been seeing how they put everyone in their place, and but I don't want to get into for people to call us misogynist or anti-feminist or racist or what bullshit they want to call us now. So
It's okay, virus. Don't worry about it. They say all those bad things about me too. But you know what I
but you're
tell
a
them?
billionaire.
But you know what I tell them, virus? I say, hey, look, if you don't like it that much, you can move to China.
China.
They can move to China.
I know. Yeah, but you're a billionaire, don't Trumpy. I'm not yet.
Not not before too long, virus. They're gonna bleed me dry. They're gonna bleed me dry with all these legal fees. Gotta pay the lawyers. Lawyers are very
Good.
expensive.
Okay, from what movie is this? Are you ready? Sit on a spin, man. Sit on a spin.
Oh,
Come on, go.
I know this, and
Come
I'm
on,
drawing a
go. You guys
blank.
know. Come on. Come on, guys. You know this. It's categorized as a horror movie, but it's not a horror movie. It was released. It was the first from a huge franchise that the enemy is horrific, is not human, and he doesn't talk, doesn't communicate with the hero. Come on. Now, this line that I just say is somebody important in the role that actually gets almost to the final of the end of the movie, but I'm gonna give you that because it's a he that says, and then a she that responds with the same line. Please, I'm with two gurus of movies here. You know, no?
I know I can picture it, but I can't remember what movie it's from.
Anytime, anywhere. Come on, anytime, anywhere. Okay, another one. Nobody told me he was a robot.
Now
Come on, guys.
that one I don't know.
You're almost there. I can see that face. Alexander's almost there. Okay.
I want to say The Blob.
No? Come on, guys. Seriously? When you take so much time, I start doubting myself. Aliens. See that spin, dude. See that spin, right? Anytime, any words, Vasquez. Come on, guys. See it on the spin. Anyway. Good movie.
Very good
Horror
movie.
movie for a lot of people. But it's not a horror movie at all.
It kind of can be.
It was categorized as horror, but it's not a horror movie. Come on, it's aliens.
Right. Running away from monsters, not knowing if
I mean,
they're...
it's just, I don't know if I'm more scared of the alien that his blood gonna destroy my bones, or that sexual thing that gets attached in my face.
Oh, the face hugger.
That is more scary.
Yeah.
That the thing is like that's scary. Or the
Right.
I recently watched Spaceballs. Remember Spaceball?
I love that movie.
That's one of my favorite gags.
Yeah.
Water my ass! Bring this guy some Pepto-Bismol!
Right.
Yeah.
And then
What he asked? What he ordered?
Oh, God. And then the dance number. That was too
Yeah.
funny.
Just
Pizza the Hut is one of the best villains I ever seen in my
You're
life.
delicious.
yeah. And the guy's eating him like like his lackey. He's eating.
Or-
He's like,
Yeah.
"You're delicious."
Or what is it? Or else pizza is gonna send out for you.
You know what? It's funny to believe that. What is the name of the character that is Han Solo? What is the name of the
Lone
character?
Lone Star.
Lone Star became president of the United States in Independence Day. It's
Yeah,
hard to believe that. Giving one of the best motivational speech I ever heard in a movie.
I love that movie.
I love
Yeah.
Independence Day.
That speech is that.
It is. It's iconic.
I haven't
man.
known.
I know people are like to shed on America, but it's a great speech, man. Like it really gets you going.
If Donald Trump says that speech today, everybody will go back to his side. I got an uncle, Jake, that Alexander's know well, that looks exactly like the drunk guy. He doesn't drink, my uncle, that crashed the airplane, you know? And
Yeah.
he looked like him. So every time I watch the movie, I triple enjoy it because you love that character. He becomes a hero, and he looks like my uncle. So that's fantastic.
He's a hero.
Hey, boys, I'm back.
Bye. Yeah, that's. You know what? We should do that.
Andy Quaid.
Do reactions one day, and just prepare some lines that the other people need to guess. That would be cool.
That'd be a fun
I think
game.
that would be a fun game with the guests. Thank you very much, Alexander. Thank you, Jake. It was a really entertaining show. Thank you for all the movements of the schedule. Thank you for coming earlier, Alexander. Happy Halloween to everyone.
Yes. Happy Halloween. Be safe out there. Wear a jacket if you're in an area where you need one.
If you're
Just
diabetic, don't eat a lot of chocolate.
Just stay home.
If you do, it's going to be a scary night. If
And-
you're lactose intolerant, Kit Kat is not an option for you. Could be a really, really scary diarrhea night.
And let's just remember one thing. Drug dealers are not going to give away their drugs for free. So it's okay. You got to pay for that shit.
Remember, people that invite you to go to your van, don't go.
I know
They
it's
need to pay
Halloween.
the right amount first. All right, before they kick us out of the platforms. Thank you, guys. Toon Talk 2.0, number 10. We made it to number 10.
And remember, everyone, be safe out there. Buy guns. Buy lots of guns. Buy high caliber guns. High caliber rounds.
Hey, we're just defending the second right to defend ourselves in the Constitution. So
All I'm
because
saying,
we're not promoting it.
all I'm saying is that, you know,
I love this podcast, Jake. Think what you're gonna say. I really love this podcast.
I'm just saying, I'm not sure that even Michael Myers can survive a couple shots of buckshot at close range.
Bro,
Probably.
if Michael Myers coming after me, I just get a bazooka.
Well, yeah, but you can't legally buy a bazooka. You can totally buy buckshot,
If
though.
Michael Myers is coming after me, I don't care to finish in a federal prison.
Well, I know, but where are you going to get one?
I just gotta go to Harlem. That's easy.
Go to Harlem?
Don't worry, it's another movie. I'm done. You know what? I can't with this guy. I'm throwing all the lines tonight. Thank you, everyone. Be safe. Don't listen to Jake's recommendation on guns. Be peaceful. Okay, last movie. Can I?
The Purge. I've totally forgot about The Purge.
Oh, The Purge. No, I was gonna say that line, but yeah. I'm a fighter. I'm a dancer, not a fighter. Remember that movie, Alexander?
No.
Oh my God.
What?
Blood in, blood out. Crucito. I'm a dancer, not a fighter.
Oh, that movie.
And let's finish this show with a beautiful phrase of one of the secondary characters of Blood in, blood out. Hey, Cinderella, go find yourself another fella. Good night.
I have a dream